on YouTube and see how this works out. This will be interesting. Yes, Maru, you do help me a lot. I can't thank you enough. Thank you. Okay, so I'm back here on YouTube. Let me know if you have sound, if you have audio. I appreciate it. So anyways, with all this opposition to Neptune, be careful for deception, self-deception or otherwise. Careful of escapism, of addictions. Okay, awesome. Yay, sweet. What's up, Nancy? So especially when Mars comes into this opposition, it's like you may almost get these delusional visions of what you want to do, where you want to go, what you feel you need to do for the next step. But I suggest holding off. What's up, Lisa? How you doing? I suggest holding off on making any big decisions right now, because this Mars energy, Mars is grounded. It's like in the 3D and opposed Neptune. Neptune is stronger. It's overpowering. So Neptune is going to be like, I don't think so. Are you fucking kidding me? Now Instagram wants to glitch out. Well, hey, I'm just going to keep going and let the chips fall where they may. All right. And that's sort of like the theme that's going on right now. Like what we want to work is not really working the way we want it to. So, all right. Your sack over here? Hell yeah. Things may not be working out the way we want it to, but it's bringing up whatever is needed to come up in order for us to face and feel and work through, and then get on with it. Right. So, and all of this is going on while Saturn practically stationed. It's practically it's basically not going anywhere. It's at the degree that it's going to go direct. It's not going to go direct this week, but it's a few days away. It's right there. So that is like putting the emergency brake on everything. So while this Mars energy is frustrated with Neptune, and we have Uranus quadrate over to all these personal planets. Now it's like, oh, you had all this new energy, all these great things coming in. Are you really going where you want to go? Do you really have what you want to do? Do you really think that this is your passion? This is your love? This is your whatever? Okay, like questioning everything. But with the questioning everything, we don't really know 100%. Like we can't get to that. It's like two of the same magnets. You try to put them together and they just don't quite fit. Okay, so stepping back and allowing ourselves to receive, especially with Venus being in the lead now. As long as it's in the lead, we have that divine feminine. The necessitation, is that a word? Well, I don't care. I just made it up. The necessitation to receive. And Mars is like, fuck that. I don't want to receive. When I was at Burning Man, my Uranus was sesquiquadrate to Venus, huh? How interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. So with this sesquiquadrate energy, it could be uncomfortable, but again, that right there to me, that is these spiritual gifts that are going to be coming up in shocking ways that we don't really expect and we don't really understand. So the feelings, emotions, the vibes could be all over the place right now. Okay. But we have the Sun and Mars basically sextile to the North Node. Now, in a couple days here on the 10th, we have a double yod coming in. Now, this double yod, we've been having a lot of yods lately, which is really powerful energy. And this is going to give us clarity, but the clarity may be painful, like, almost like giving birth, right? Like energetically speaking, it's like when it's happening, it's like, oh my God, yeah, yes, I'm a yod. Exactly. So, and both of these yods have an aspect with North Node, which is our destiny, and it's in Cancer, which is emotional. So, this is going to give us some like, what the fuck is going on? Aha moments and epiphanies, maybe dreams that are just like so vivid, so real. You're like, what the hell? I think I might want to fight about it, Maru. Yeah, what's up? Bring it. uh, and so with all these oppositions, we also have quite a few sextiles and trines going on still too. So, it's not all bad. It's just like we had this sort of little break, this break in this deeper, more difficult energy. It was a little bit lighter and breezier, which is nice. Now we're coming back into it like, okay, now it's time to work again. Now it's time to get it in. All right. Good thing is, once a big energetic shift this month will be on the 18th, which is next Wednesday, when Saturn goes direct, because at least at that point, then we can move forward. Then we can take, this life purpose, and the pieces will start falling into place. But in order for that to happen the most efficiently, we have to still have that skill of letting go and receiving, because if we still try to control what is going on, the universe is going to lay the smackdown. Saturn's going to be like, I don't fucking think so. You are going the way I want you to go. And if you fight it, then that's what. Have you noticed that a lot of people are dying or getting diagnosed with cancer, or even like getting diagnosed with some kind of disease, and then them just downward spiral like super fast, because we are all manifesting things at a miraculously intense and fast rate. Now, some people more than others, of course, depends on your chart and depends on, many, many factors where you are in life. But I guarantee everybody in life right now is going through something, some kind of transition, some kind of change that is challenging the status quo, because we are meant to change the status quo. And that's that Saturn energy that is coming in to and rebuilding, reconfiguring this foundation. And it's like, we don't know what the foundation is going to look like a year from now. So we have to trust. And that is where the letting go and the receiving, this energy is all about learning how to receive. And we learn how to receive through letting go of control of things outside of us, which we really have no control over anyways, right? So understand that. And, each step allows us to go deeper into it, one step at a time. And as we go deeper into it, it's scarier, it's more intense, it's more difficult, but then we come out of it, we're like, yeah, I just did that. I was just listening to this audiobook today, Can't Hurt Me with David Goggins. If you guys haven't read that book or listened to the audiobook, I highly recommend it. That dude put himself through more shit and went through more shit too when he was a kid than I think any story I've ever heard. Is a Navy SEAL. He runs super marathons, which are like 100-mile long marathons. Absolutely nuts. Apparently that's like a thing now, to run like 100 miles. But pushing yourself, like right now is a great time to push yourself beyond your conceived limitations. And that can be energetically, that can be mentally, that can be emotionally, that can be physically, and they can all work together. For me, it's physical fitness, trying to optimize my physical fitness while balancing my mind, with my body. There's a fine line. There's a threshold there that we have to adhere to. And when we adhere to it, like we start to notice the little nuances, the little things that come into play that we see, and I need to shift this in this position. I need to shift this in this position. And when we do, it unlocks that next place. And they're all the deeper we go, the more subtle these nuances are. And as you get more attuned to this energy, and especially these yods are allowing us to really see and feel the nuances of energy, it opens us up. It opens up our heart. It opens up our vulnerability to that deeper level. And that vulnerability is a place we go to thrive. Then, of course, Neptune is a certain kind of vulnerability, right? When we don't succumb to the escapism, to the addiction, we grow and we flourish and we expand, okay? When the oppositions start to come in with Chiron, when everything starts to go into Libra, which we're going to see Venus and Mercury do that this week, that's going to start to bring up a whole different kind of vulnerability, right? We learned things, months ago, right around Aries season, when the personal planets were coming through and conjuncting Chiron. Now, here in September, these personal planets are going to start to oppose Chiron. So back then, it was internal. It was challenging our things within us. Now, when it comes around the opposition, it's going to say, okay, now we're going to test you to see what you've learned and to see if you've really done your work. and it's gonna come in the expressions from our environment and from people, places, and things that are around us in our day-to-day life to test us. All right. And those Chiron tests can be, in my opinion, they're some of the toughest tests out there. But it's the toughest because that feeling of vulnerability is the deepest and most intense. And that vulnerability, that's where the light shines through. In that darkest place is where you crack it open, and you crack it open through feeling it. You have to feel it. There's just no way around it. And when you do feel it, it's going to suck. It is. But that's part of the process. Like human beings learn through suffering. That's just how it goes, right? And it's funny, like I know some people that after they go through all this suffering, they think, well, I want to help other people so they don't have to suffer. But is that really how it works? If you're trying to help somebody out and they're going through their own shit, like where is the line where it goes from helping someone to enabling someone? Because if you're not letting someone go through their own process, if you're trying to preserve them or protect them from experiencing this pain, then you're not letting them experience their own journey and go through their own shit and struggle, right? Everybody has to go through it their own way. And that's part of the receiving and acceptance of all this energy. All right. We can be there. We can hold space, like when they make the decision, they want to come to us and they want help. Yeah. Be there for them. Let's help them out, but watch for the enabling. Okay, that enabling energy is going to be really strong, and it's sort of parallel to the addiction, to the escapism. Right? Some people escape through enabling. Right, and so we want to watch out for that. So if you're wondering, if you're not clear, if you're thinking that maybe this might be you, all right, that is when you need to take a step back and detach and really think deeply about what it is that you're doing and why. Okay. Are you afraid to hurt people's feelings? Are you afraid to, is it fear? I just went to go see the movie It, the second It movie last night. And it was really fascinating. I read that book when I was a kid. Right. And this movie was actually much more in alignment with the book, but like how Pennywise the Clown was this incarnated version of everyone's fear, and it fed on that fear. But once all of the the group, the Losers Club, once they got so sucked deep into this fear, but they stuck together and they started to find that, oh hey, you can't, this is all in my mind, you're fucking with my head. And once they realized that you really can't do anything if we don't believe that you can do something, and that can be anything, people, places, things. When we give something power, when we idealize something, or when we, say, like, you ever dealt with someone and you heard someone else talk shit about them before, and you meet this person, you have this nasty taste in your mouth about them, but you don't know them, right? So why judge them based on what somebody else said? Give them a chance. So if you like things like that, if you notice that you're doing stuff like that, take a step back, judge-free zone, baby. We have to be judge-free, and we have to be strong and honorable and integral in our own heart's nature and needs. Okay. So on those yods, all that shit just came out channeling about the yods. So be prepared for this kind of stuff to be coming up. And then 3 days later, we have the Pisces full moon. Now on the 13th, this Pisces full moon is Neptune is conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Oh boy. So Lilith, the energy of Lilith to me it's exciting. It can be very almost like lustful, but it can also be manipulative and dangerous. It can be, especially being conjunct to Neptune, this can make that addictive nature or desire to escape very strong. Okay. Or manipulate. We can even manipulate ourselves doing this, right? So that's going to be conjunct Neptune, and Neptune is like the powerhouse right here in this position. And it's going to be exactly opposite to Mars on this day. So this energy it's like the vision that comes to my mind is, you know, like in one of the Avengers movies when the Hulk takes Loki and smashes him on the ground, right? Smashes him like just Hulk smash everywhere, smash him all over the ground, but it's shaking loose all this shit that's just stuck in there, right? So thank you, Hotel Code. I appreciate that. So we're going to get shaken loose from all this stuff that's holding us stagnant that we don't really understand or realize is making us or keeping us stagnant. And as it gets shaken loose, then afterwards, you're going to be like dizzy, like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened? Like after, say, like, you know, you're working with a new trainer and the trainer just kicks your ass, be way beyond the point where you thought that you could handle it. You did legs and you're just puking and you feel nauseous. You go home and you're shaking, you feel dizzy. You need to, you know, cover yourself in ice for 2 days. All right. It's that kind of energy. And then, of course, right then during this full moon, we also have Chiron now opposed to Mercury and Venus that are both at 29 degrees of Virgo. Now, 29 degrees. Yeah, Maru, exactly. Truth right there. Present life situation. So with Chiron, during this energy, now Chiron is exactly opposed to our divine feminine and to our communication. So this is bringing to light, like, what are we lying to ourselves about? What is and being right there at 29 degrees, that's a master number. All right. That's a very powerful, the most powerful Virgo energy that we can have. And with this being opposed to it, this is purging out. This is like at the end of the toothpaste roll where you're going to roll it all the way up and then, you know, press it out there. It's the very last bit, the nasty, gooey, you know, end where, you know, it's almost done, but we got to get the little, you know, crevices and edges that we just don't really care about usually, right? That's where it's going. And that, and what's being pushed out is that feeling of vulnerability, all right? And right there in Virgo, on the cusp of Libra, you can bet your ass that it's going to have something to do with relationships. Now, this could just bring up, you know, things that you're not being honest with yourself about. Or are you really happy in this situation or not? Or is this person like business partners? Is business partner fucking you over? Or, you know, like, can you guys actually work together? You know, be careful about like if you're signing contracts or like getting a new car or something. Like you go to buy a car around this time and this salesman could just preach and tell you everything that you want to hear. And then all of a sudden you get it and it's a lemon. Okay. Be real careful about that. And, you know, and just stay in your truth, stay in your power. And during this time, we also still have that T-square going on. And now the T-square is incredibly powerful with all this other energy going on. But we do still have the Sun and Mars trine over to now the South Node in Pluto. All right. So that's going to be nice. But it's still a very responsible energy. Okay. And that responsibility is saying, okay, like we feel all this shit, we got it going on. How are you going to restructure yourself emotionally and physically in this world to handle all this shit? All right. We got to be able to handle it. All right. Now I would like to read the inside degrees about this full moon to understand more about the energy of what's going on. Because this is a highly psychic, very, very psychic energy too. And that can be freaky. You know, whenever you're increasing your abilities in a psychic or extrasensory nature, it can be really weird. A lot of, you know, weird stuff kind of comes up. So 21 degrees of Pisces, which is where this, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Let's see here. 19, 20. 18, 20. 19, 20, 21. Yeah, it's at 21 degrees. Okay, so we have this full moon in Pisces at 21 degrees, and it says pagan fire worshippers dancing. So if you can envision that, I can definitely envision that because there's a lot of that going on at Burning Man. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. So the very first part of the description is trance states. That in and of itself says it all. I'm getting goosebumps from it. Okay. At home in psychic realms and other realities. The self abandoned to the tribe, to the sweep of the moment, to the energies that arise. On fire with longing and poignant bittersweet reflections. A throwback, a native, a primal soul. Emotional, depths-centered, superphysical. You are energized tremendously by special occasions, extraordinary meetings, unexpected miracles, and tragedies. Expectant and waiting for something wild and unknown to break through. Mediumistic, vicarious, in charge with the life force that must be followed out. A certain distinctive fate to be at times disappearing and gone, and at other times resurgent and mighty. All depend upon the tides of fortune. And it will always change in unpredictable, exciting, disorienting, and multiple ways. So this is a very unpredictable time, a very special time of bringing in new gifts, new realizations, new understandings about life, about energy, about the universe. Okay. And this is also like the self abandoned to the tribe, to the sweep of the moment, to the energies that arise. So this is feeling the collective consciousness. This is like sacrificing in a way self to humanity, to others, because Aquarius is the real like humanitarian energy, but Pisces is about oneness. So essentially that's about humanitarian efforts as well. So it's really about our mission to humanity, right? How to help, how to heal, how to be there for one another, and why. Okay. On fire with longing and poignant bittersweet reflections. This is looking at the past, and nobody's perfect. Everybody the way we learn is through fucking up, right? And no matter what you've messed up on, like as we go through these experiences and situations, we see, we learn, and part of the work is to not beat yourself up for not being perfect. And that's part of that Virgo energy. We want to beat ourselves up for, not being perfect. But part of the perfection of being a human being is the imperfection. That's the beauty. And we have to learn to see that and understand it and realize it, right? A throwback, a native, a primal soul. This is like getting down to the core of who we are, right? And with that T-square, this is bringing that spirit energy. It's like, bow, just hitting us with the left hook. You're like, look, see, feel. It's time. Like this is in a huge, like wake up kind of energy. And that wake up energy is going to hit a lot of people that haven't woken up yet either. So with the collective waking up at such a vast rate right now, you can expect to be feeling other people's shit and other people's energies. Just let it be okay. And, if you need time to yourself, if you need to take a step back, then do that. Honor yourself, right? Honoring yourself is super, super important. You're probably going to be pretty emotional during this time. So if you find yourself like driving around, listening to a certain song, and then all of a sudden crying out of nowhere for no reason, that is a high probability that stuff like that's going to happen. All right. Emotional, depth-centered, super physical. You are energized tremendously by special occasions, extraordinary meetings, unexpected miracles, and tragedies. We could have a lot of unexpected opportunities and things coming in right now. Okay. And things that may not look like opportunities or may not look like something we want may actually be the biggest thing that we're looking forward to. So try to keep that in mind and try to be aware that, things may not make sense right now. Things may not be coming through like you want them to, or you think they should, but that has to be okay. And just let it flow. Let it flow, baby. Let it flow. Yeah, it's 20. Maru, what's 21? Oh, yes, the degree. I love you, Maru. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Trying to keep an open mind. Well, right now, you're not really going to have a choice. You're gonna have an open mind. Whether like weird shit's going to come through, and probably a lot in dream state too. So with this weird shit coming through, it's going to open your mind, or it's going to make you curious about opening your mind, which is essentially what an open mind is, right? It's curiosity of things that are unknown. What a closed mind is you hear something that's unknown and you're like, oh, that's stupid. No, I'm not gonna pay attention to that, right? So have faith in what you don't understand. And that can be very, very difficult, but it's necessary. And you know what? It's going to get you to that next answer, but you don't know when it's going to come. You don't know where it's going to come from, and you don't know how it's going to get there. The only way that you're going to know what the next step is by feeling it. You have to feel it, and you have to trust your feeling. Then once we establish that foundation of trust, once Jupiter gets past Neptune, then it's going to be like, okay, now our mind is ready to take those logical steps as opposed to emotional, right? So emotions can be good or bad. And we want to learn how to use them in the times they feel bad and the times that they feel good. What's up, Brittany? So, you know, in doing this stuff, it's not like an overnight thing. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes work. I've been doing this work a good solid 5 years. And when I do work in anything, I go way down the rabbit hole. That's why I call this down the rabbit hole, right? Because, you know, if you really want to learn, if you really want to know yourself, at least for me, I'm an intense dude, right? I have a very strong ego too. So in order to be able to transcend that, I have to master my mind in order to listen to my heart. And I even still have a difficult time with it sometimes. You know, sometimes I need meditation and I go to work out, and then I go to work out and I don't have a good workout. I'm like, fuck, I should have meditated. You know, it's sometimes my ego is driving me, and sometimes, like, you know, and even sometimes my spirit's driving me. It's like, no, I should have gone this way. I should have gone that way. But you know what? But getting in my head and not letting it flow like that is also part of the process. So, you know, just trust that wherever you're at, you're learning the lesson that you're meant to learn, and you're going in the way that you're meant to go. Everything is perfectly orchestrated for right then and there. And what's up, Lo? So be clear within yourself, and don't be harsh. Self-judgment is going to be really, really intense right now too, especially with that Neptune-Mars opposition. All right, we're going to be judging ourselves. I can't do this right. I can't do this. I didn't do this. I should have done this. I should have, could have, would have. Yeah, everybody could have, should have, would have, right? But that's not that's not reality. That's not where we're at. So stop judging yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. Life ain't exactly how you want to. It's probably never going to look exactly how you want, or at least exactly how your ego wants. But when Spirit's guiding you, it's like when it's not the way that it's meant to look in your mind, it's still okay in your heart, and you have to sacrifice that to a certain extent. Because really, our ego wants certain things that are based on, you know, things outside of our heart-centered space, and that's not really what we want. You ever, you know, like, you have a goal, right? Like to get, maybe you want to get a car or buy like a, you know, like a bike, or, you know, or go on a trip to, I don't know, Europe or something. And you expect, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prepare for it. You get it. You buy this new car. You go on this trip, and it just, you don't get the feeling that you were expecting that you were going to get. You buy this new car, and it's like, okay, it's nice. You get a lot of people, you know, saying this and that, and it's great, but it does, there's still that, there's that void in there, right? I did that for a long time, competing in bodybuilding. I had a, you know, I was strict for, I never cheated for like 5 years, never cheated on my diet. I trained all the time. I had a killer physique for years. I got a lot of external validation, like, man, you look fucking amazing, blah, blah. It felt great, but I never became a pro, and it was never good enough for me. I always had to be tighter, leaner, bigger, stronger, faster. You know, like I tried doing this, you know, YouTube thing a long time ago. It never materialized in anything because it was my ego that was driving the bus. Now it's not, and I'm staying going forward with it because I don't really care what kind of outside validation I get. I do this because I love sharing this information, and because it's also teaching me getting through this. When I first started, if you go back to some of my first lives, you'll see that my energy, I'm just like deer in headlights. Like, what do I do? Ooh, I don't know what to say. Wait a minute. How does this work? How does that work? You know, technical difficulty, shit happens, right? But through the process, you learn, like, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to have fun with it and be cool with whatever happens. And that's part of the process, learning how to overcome that fear within yourself. This isn't about the outside world. This is about you. This is about your heart, what you want. And this is what the universe is purging out right now. What do you really want? Is what you're doing really giving you what you desire? Is it making you feel full in here? And if not, why? Why are you doing it? Why isn't it fulfilling you? And that one question can drive people fucking crazy. But it's part of the learning process. And the only way we learn is through allowing ourselves to feel it and then trying different things and going in different directions. And, like just knowing that you're going in the right direction for you. Okay. So with the Uranus sesquiquadrate, we also have, Jupiter here that is quincunx to the North Node here, probably for another month and a half. Okay. And we have a lot of North Node aspects right now, sextile to the sun, basically sextiling all the personal planets as well, which with all this frustrating energy, it's also saying, hey, look, this is where you're going. This is where you're meant to be. So, like sit tight and go with the flow and charge through it. All right. You're going to be fine. Things are going to be okay. And of course, each step along the way we're going through this, it's teaching us what the platform is going to be set for next year. Because this foundation is really, it's like the concrete is being poured right now, right? The rebar is set, the concrete's being poured. It's going to be when the Saturn and Pluto conjunct January of next year. That's when the concrete is hardened. And that's when it's like, okay, now it's time to build on top of that foundation. So if we have not done the work right now, that foundation is going to have problems. And we're going to have to go back and fix those problems in the foundation. And you do not want to fix a foundation when you're building on top of that. Because if you think about next year, we're going to have Mars retrograde and Venus retrograde again in the same year. We're going to have all these, we're going to have Jupiter coming into Capricorn, and it's going to conjunct Saturn, and then eventually conjunct Pluto as well, and the South Node. All right. Then we have, of course, the Saturn Pluto conjunction. These are massive, never seen before in this lifetime energies. And, they're like, it's shit or get off the pot right now. All right. And if you're doing the work, allowing these life changes to pull you forward, while you may even feel like you're being held back, but deep down underneath all that discomfort and frustration, that you're going in the right direction. You don't know how or why, you can feel it. Right. So, and it's about trusting that feeling, having trust and having faith. This is building up the strength of our faith in the universe, in God, in source, in ourselves, in our higher self, whatever you want to call it. Okay. There's many different roads to the same destination. And, your perspective is just what really determines how you get there. And this energy is also heavily perspective shifting as well. When you're going through difficult things, that those perspective shifts are what really give you the clarity and the new life. A new life is simply a perspective shift. The 5D, between the 5D and the 3D, it's simply a perspective shift, right? It's acceptance. It's having open minds, believing that there are good things coming in your life. It's believing that you're abundant. It's believing that you are loved, and it's believing that in yourself, that you love yourself. It's all these positive beliefs instead of allowing yourself to be bombarded with all this negative, fear-based shit that is just everywhere in our society. And as less people pay attention to it, that is getting weaker and weaker. But we have to continue the work because we are the ones that are changing it. And we have to feel that, like we have to know deep down inside that change is coming because we are the change. And as we are the change, as we embody that change within ourselves, the change happens in our lives, and we infect and we influence other people around. And we're able to really, change other people's perceptions and perspectives, or at least make people question, what they're thinking, doing, feeling, and whatnot. So as those questions start to become louder and louder and louder, that's how, boop, the bubble pops and the awakening happens, and here we go. Okay, so we have the full moon, and that sort of energy is still going on. This T-square is going to be going on all week. So that full moon energy is going to be really strong and palpable because that T-square is sort of holding on to energy, right? So let's see. The Mars Pluto opposition hanging out for a couple days. That's ugh. If you need to take a step back in this next week, okay? And then here we have, let's see. Oh, I'm doing hour by hour. Let's do day by day. Day by day. All right. And the 16th, now we have the moon's going to be quincunx over to the sun and Mars. That's not really a big deal. The big deal to me is going to be this Chiron opposed the Venus and Mercury. That could be difficult communication within the self, from the heart to the mind, or difficult communication in our environment. Okay. And with Venus, Venus is all about love. It's all about finances, so we could be running into some issues regarding love and regarding finances, regarding, receiving and whatnot. So, pay attention to that Chiron energy. It's back at 4 degrees now, and we've learned a lot this year throughout the way. So it shouldn't be as surprising. It's more like old things coming back up. Like, what did we learn? What steps did we take in the right direction, or what steps did we take out of fear, right? And then move forward from that place so that we can, just admit and accept all these things that are just sort of tough realities right now. Yeah, so that is this week in a nutshell. It's going to be an intense week. So receive, go with the flow, and be kind. No judgment, okay? Be kind to yourself. And allow these changes to come in and do what they got to do. That's how we got to flow with this. And then mid next week is when things are going to start to really change. And even if there's difficult aspects, at least we're going to be going forward, right? When right now we want to go forward, but we're not quite sure how or why or in what manner to do it. Okay, so it's coming along, and yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys for tuning in and joining me. Please you can go to trinityfitnessastrology.com or mypsychic.one and sign up for a $60 astrology reading with me. Definitely jump on this opportunity. I really want to work with you guys and just get this thing flowing and going to the next level. And please, if you like this on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. Please let people know about this, and let's collaborate. Let's make things happen. Let's do it up. All right. And until next week, and just to let you guys know, on YouTube, I do a daily energy update on my Instagram. So please check that out as well. Spiritual_bodybuilder is my Instagram name. Let's do this. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.